Hi everyone, my name is Alex. I'm the chairman of Aegis Underwater Hockey. That's a grassroots sports organisation based in the UK which aims to help grow smaller teams, increase accessibility, and it can increase media visibility using projects like this. what they will want to say is that Aegis is kind of on Instagram and YouTube, so if you want to drop a follow and help us kind of share this experience to lots of different people, be sure to send this stream to as many of your friends as you can. But yes, I'm very excited to be sharing with you today the Seattle versus Chicago match from the last day of the US National Championships for 2025. This fantastic match is past a few weeks ago now, but I wanted to kind of do a stream to kind of commentate over it, and for anyone that missed it, kind of share a bit about kind of what that match means to the players, and also just kind of highlights for everyone, not just kind of experienced players, but also people that may not have seen the sport before, because everything we can do as a community to encourage kind of Octopus fans, I think is a fantastic endeavour. But yes, I'm very kind of thankful for Atlantis Sports in particular. They supplied this wonderful footage that we're commentating over. Going to be the camera setups, kind of all kind of hand designed. Very grateful. Also, of course, the two teams. We've got Seattle Seahammers on the left on the white team, and Chicago on the right on the black team. So. I'm kind of really thankful for their time this week, especially for Liz Johnston, who has been spoke to me in an interview. You can see all that on our reels, kind of on our Instagram. Kind of get a bit more of human insight, kind of see a bit more of the journey and what it means for a current team to participate at this higher level. Kind of in an amazing tournament, and of course, there's never enough time to kind of showcase all the teams that have taken part, but I'd love to do this kind of thing again. If you have a team that you think that deserves to be showcased, that would love to chat and be featured in this way, tag them, let me know, and drop them in the comments. I'd love to get in touch and do more stuff like this if we can. But yes, also big thanks to the Underwater Society of America, particularly the Underwater Hockey Commission, for helping out massively, chasing up leads, and kind of helping with outreach. You guys are the best, and I'm really hoping that you enjoy our stream today. But yes, let's take a bit of a closer look at what these teams what the team loadouts are looking like, really. In particular, let's look at the overall kind of goal scoring. In particular, there's really good names here. Inigo, particularly kind of 6 goals, kind of something to look out for. Liz mentioned Christina Jones, fantastic, and also kind of lower down a bit, kind of Decca Onken as well. All heavy hitters and people you really want to watch out for. So I want to mention one thing, which is that I've often kind of come across the misconception that kind of these kind of penalty times can indicate like a kind of aggressive play style, or kind of it's not messy, but kind of unsportsmanlike. I want to kind of dispel that belief, particularly because sometimes kind of being really in the game means that there kind of be kind of variety of penalty, kind of big and small. That's kind of a big part of the game. You notice that kind of quite a few ref calls, not all of which results in penalties, although it's all kind of integrated part of the match experience at this level. I particularly want to say one of the highest goal scorers, Daniel Lowry from the Los Angeles team, penalties of 10 minutes, right? Kind of spread over these kind of goals, really just attacking through, and kind of with 14 goals. That's amazing, and kind of these are all kind of really precise, brilliant athletes. So I wanted to kind of explain that for new viewers. But yes, let's set up the goal now. We better be quick. And on the Chicago team, kind of on the inverse, lot cleaner, bit of a different approach. Obviously, John Godomsky, kind of really kind of heavy hitter right at the top there, 10 goals, one of the best of this tournament certainly, and very few penalties. So we could take this a bit more of a defensive play style, kind of take it and take less chances. But obviously, you can make your own judgment about that as the game progresses. One thing I will say though is that penalties could be a lot of different things. It could be a stick infringement, kind of getting really kind of into that scrum on the wall, or it could be crossing over ref line kind of by accident when they're setting up the reset. But lots to see here. And what I want to highlight is how these are kind of really strong, really fit players. You'd be tough to find a better match than this on the world stage. And of course, we're getting ready. Time is out. Kind of really going for the strike. Trying to keep it all kind of well maintained. Kind of legs engaged, right off the wall, kind of getting straight through. And this first strike can tell you a lot about the team setup here. Because if a team's getting in there right off the bat, way ahead, but you can see almost perfectly equal as they try to fight for it. Amazing. So we have Seattle there, definitely one to watch out for. Kind of a nice swim there, you can see. And of course, the visibility is not perfect, but there is so much we can draw because Octopush as a kind of sporting experience is kind of incredibly rich in what you can draw from it. And you see that's what we call a kind of ref call, and the ref's going to take the puck, reset, and then kind of inside kind of a free puck. In this case, maybe middle third, depends how they play it. Straight through, of course, the players are free to choose how they approach that. Kind of take it to the middle, really scrap each other, twist, kind of use the end of the stick to kind of hook in, and kind of flick through back. That's another ref call. Obviously, I think it's kind of, remember, this game is Sunday 8 AM. It's a tough one, and obviously maybe there's lots to kind of think about, and trying to start the day off with kind of power and precision. Every ref call provides an opportunity to kind of reset and think about things. But yes, kind of trying to push up to the wall, trying to kind of cut through, flick back. Yes, we have Chicago on the right with the black sticks. We better watch out for that one. And they're just kind of trying to take back ownership here. And yes. And you can see the refs are kind of done in these kind of gorgeous red and yellow garb, which makes them super visible under the water. Lovely flick through. Really nice control, kind of really close to the bottom as well. Because you have to remember, if you're too far off the bottom of the pool, someone's going to sweep under you. It's a tricky one. But yes, let's think about this. The refs watching closely, and even though you can't see, I believe that should be a goal. As should be a goal. It depends on the ref's call. We'll see in a second. Yep, and that's a reset. I'll see it come through. Brilliant, brilliant stuff. Yep, Seattle straight up. In a go. Right, really trying to kind of take ownership early on. That was a fast one. Very, very quick. First 3 minutes. That kind of is a bit of a worrying indication for Seattle there. But nothing to worry about just yet. Kind of really punching through. Using that physicality, but it's not enough to break through that back line. Taking up to the wall. Tries a bit of a defensive rotation, but it doesn't look like they've set it up enough. Amazing. Now, trying to get up to the wall, get a bit of strength there. Nice swim, straight. You can see that quite often. Up to the wall, kind of up on the side, and then when you get to that kind of the opposite third, diagonal across, and I think Chicago has executed that really well. And we should be seeing that unless they made a last minute kind of clutch at the goal where it gets particularly tough. But yeah, reset there. There you have it, folks. Nicholas Williams, number 32, goal, setting up for a very interesting match. For sure, definitely going to first 4 or 5 minutes. So it should be the first 5 minutes by the time this resets. Definitely evenly matched. So I'm very interested to see how they play this. Should be an interesting one. Now, this strike should see who's kind of willing to display. Perfect. Lovely, lovely pass. Straight up on the diagonal. Although I don't think it's enough. Putting it back. Alright. Already in that third. That's not a good sign. Obviously, you want to kind of try and keep it either to the wall or at the very least in the middle. Trying to push it up. Not too bad. Now, people talk about the kind of the first half, second half divide. Some teams you know that they're kind of very much kind of second half winners. They can kind of keep that momentum, or kind of have the kind of the adrenaline really works for them as in their team synergy. That when they get to that second half, that's when they thrive. But I'm not seeing that as much. I think that they're definitely punching early, and that's what we love to see. But yes, I see refreshing, trying to take space, and I believe there might be a ref call. But something that's difficult to see in displays like this. But yes, interesting. Yes, that is a ref call, trying to kind of fresh reset. Think about where we're at, and if you just joined us, it's still 1-1, which is kind of very unlikely with a match like this. First 5 minutes, but yeah, Chicago just punching it up. Obviously, I've kind of Chicago's goal on the left, Seattle on the right. Yep, that's another ref goal, I believe. Chicago trying to take it to the walls, kind of take advantage of the kind of really strong backs they have, kind of very formidable. Okay, another free puck. Lovely. Yep, lovely pass there. See, flick straight through. Although I could have taken a bit further out, but they're just hitting the brick wall. That's the issue. You know, sometimes you encounter players where they can really just kind of twist and kind of tornado around you. But there aren't many moments like this. It's just good swims, very, very fit players. And that's what makes a game like this so tough, to kind of get any sort of ground, really. And hanging back thinking there's going to be a swim, trying to predict that. But it's hard to tell. Alright, come up on the left side. And they're trying to get a bit of a better look to see what's going on there. But yes. Back up, keeping a close eye. And you can see the player on the right there's just waiting. Kind of waiting for that kind of swim to come through, but they're really fighting for it. Or back to the middle third. Nice swim, but it's kind of cut up like that. That would have been a really good one. Nice, yes, kind of curving it round. You can see they're trying to predict that pass over there. Try and catch it. They've done that very, very well. Very resilient passing there. And I like that. Okay, straight through. And starts to really bring it. You see, again, time and time again, making really great headway. But when they get into those altercations, that's when it's kind of getting a bit stalled. That's making it so interesting. And if you think back to what we've seen so far, kind of really going all across the place. Let's see how they approach this reset. Interesting. Alright. Trying to bring it back to the wall. Because obviously Chicago want to get it away from their goal and up to the wall where they can use the kind of the more enclosed space to get back on form. But it might not have been enough. You can see just about in the corner there, kind of trying to fend off the opposition. But I don't think Chicago have managed to fend it off. Yeah, that's interesting. Very, very good stuff. Alright. We'll see how it goes. And we're talking about stuff like this. When there's a penalty, kind of 60 seconds, what can happen in 60 seconds? Right? Because in some of these moments, we've had almost 2 goals within that time. Or at the very least, we've seen teams kind of cover maybe kind of 2/3 of the pool space in that kind of time, which is tough, especially tackling a game like this. All right. Now they're kind of really going to try and fight its way. Now, pause for a second. Alright, and we're back. Timer up again. If you joined us, still 1-0. Quarter of the way through now. And we're kind of going for the second quarter. And obviously they want to be able to get to the end of the first half kind of with a solid kind of at least a point lead. I've always been said that kind of 3 points by first half, definitely an indication that it's very difficult to come back from. But it's all to play for here, because either team could kind of really kind of take an advantage. Although, as we say that, Seattle kind of fights it into the corner, although they didn't see exactly. This is common, I have to say this, that you don't always see exactly who gets a goal. You may have noticed earlier when I was showing the scores that there was kind of like an unmarked, because when you get really up close to the goal, sticks are smashed against each other, and even the ref can't really get close enough without infringing upon the game. But it just means that they were kind of very, very coordinated and just pummeling Chicago's defense as they tried to get it away from that goal towards the wall. But yes, came in a bad moment when I was speaking about the trying to get a lead before half time. Although, again, I won't say that it's done at all. Now, get up to the wall. All right. Let's see how they tackle this. And of course, I've encountered games, you'll see kind of through the overall kind of stretch of this tournament, there are some games where kind of through the kind of first, second half, kind of the morale will be destroyed by the second half. And those are the kind of really tough ones, kind of where you kind of fight, and that's where you see these kind of very kind of disjointed scores. But kind of that doesn't mean that kind of it's a bad match. It just means there's kind of a lot to learn from it. Kind of, I've had matches like that, you know, up against kind of teams in the division you want to get to, right? And they'll just kind of go through you. Well, they learn a lot about the way that they kind of tackle it in that way. In particular, where they kind of handle their own kind of space. I had a match once where kind of there was a team where they kind of knew that we were kind of fast, but they could kind of flick further than us. So they kind of tried as much to kind of do these kind of beautiful kind of long distance flicks, and kind of trying to own space where they couldn't with their own speed, because they knew kind of we were a younger team, and they just didn't have that advantage. They kind of took it in a completely different way. And I don't think they kind of synergized that or kind of discussed it in a particular way. It just meant they kind of just had that as they kind of naturally encountered. And obviously, Chicago are learning the way that Seattle plays the hard way now. It's another ref call, and that's in Seattle's third. So they want to be super defensive. Although the way that people take free pucks kind of varies per region. Back in the UK, we're trying to do like a curtain, kind of where you have kind of your kind of head down to try and kind of form a bit of a barrier. Although you can't see that as much. It really varies per team and per country, even kind of per region like that. Again, corner on that left side. Chicago's going to try and kind of get that kind of offshoot direct through, but Seattle has shown that they are not often letting anything break down. Nice sprint, you can see there, good speed, but again, the one thing I love about Octopus is that physicality isn't everything. People come into it as swimmers and they think they can kind of swim all the way through. Most do it once, but there will always be someone. And speaking of that, look at that. That is gorgeous. What a swim. Now, immediately back out. Seattle knows what they want, how they're going to do it. All the way through. But yeah. Chicago are just trying to kind of defend against this. Nice rotation. When I speak about defensive rotations, particularly on the wall, that's when you have your backs and you're trying to kind of keep a constant kind of loop so that kind of the forwards can't kind of get through. So anytime they kind of get through one person, it's the back behind, and so on and so on. It's kind of a loop to kind of overcome these kind of incredible lung capacity, kind of very strong, very fit players. There are always ways to tackle players like that. That's why I say the physicality isn't everything. Speed can get you a lot of ways in a straight line, but it's the technique and the flexibility that makes a big difference. Now, again, Chicago's bringing it back, hopefully, but they're just not going to bring it to the ball. But we keep seeing these kind of swims from Seattle straight up into the left, and although the refs could be kind of middle third free puck, I believe. Yes. Chicago's trying to hook it back round, but it's not working. interesting. We have 2 minutes until the half time now. So obviously it's kind of hot in Chicago's mind. They're trying to kind of squeeze as much out of this as possible to hopefully level it out by half time. That would give a lot more confidence. Because even though it can feel tricky at times, that might be a Seattle goal. Depends how the ref calls it. I wasn't sure about that one. We'll see. If it is, that's going to be tricky. Maybe not. We'll see. 1 minute 30. All Chicago want to do right now is survive. Honestly, that's how I would play it right now. Just get to the end. Although reset, we're not sure. See what the ref's saying for that one. All right, really kind of going for it there. Bring it back. That was a lucky save. Definitely big flick. Although there aren't as many bodies on the bottom to kind of receive it. So I'm thinking, is Chicago tiring out? But then again, we don't know what's going to happen in the second half. We'll see. Punch it straight up. Right through. Might be a goal. See what the call is on that one. Okay. As you can see there, Declan Ronkin, one of the kind of highlight players of the Seattle team's got a timeout, which may be if we can kind of squeeze it in, maybe a time for Chicago to take it back. Although this close to the half time is not going to give them all of the advantage that they'd like. But yes, let's see how it goes. Really cruising through, and we'll see. I think it's going to be And if you just joined us, bring up to half time and run a beautiful half time for you. As you see, we have 3 minutes of half time to discuss. What do you guys think of that? How do you feel that Seattle and Chicago are doing? There's a lot to talk about, and I wanted to kind of review this, particularly because I have some thoughts about particularly the data of this. And I have some numbers. And you know me, that I love crunching the numbers. So let's kind of take a look at this. Let's return to the statistics. Match 8 AM on the Sunday, last day in the competition. Some athletes would say that kind of having an early start means you have a kind of night of rest and a welcome reset. Others would say that it's kind of a bit of a rude awakening to kind of start off with. But yes, bring us back to the data. This is the 8th match for both teams. With Seattle having a very interesting mix of opponents on the Saturday. It's a bit of a highlight. They had kind of Texas and Mamatesi, both these kind of really strong A division teams. Kind of a bit of a battering, but kind of I'd rather say kind of massive challenges. There's always a lot to learn. As kind of Liz said in the interview, she kind of made this fantastic comparison about how even a match that you lose is still a lot to learn from. You kind of identify value in games via how kind of rigged the aftermatch conversation is. Certainly, although fantastic games as well, kind of against Bay Area and Colorado, which were kind of more of an even match on the Saturday. So we come off on a really interesting kind of day of sport there, for both teams. Let's kind of go even deeper into the numbers. You can look at it kind of on these kind of past 7 matches. Seattle, on average, had about 55% of goals in the first half and 45% in the second. Chicago had 65% and then 35%. Now, can we make a judgment from this? Maybe, maybe not. You decide really there. This means that kind of the kind of goals Seattle and Chicago scored prior to this game, a bigger percentage of Seattle's goals were in the second half than Chicago scored, right? Can we identify this as Chicago having less staying power? No, I don't think so. It just means that kind of these Seattle's kind of particularly good at kind of keeping that kind of repeated consistency through the match, even to the second half. And of course, it's data. It's a small data set. I will let you, the audience, make your judgment as you make your prediction. Although, if I were looking at this for the first time, I would say, honestly, based on the data, I'd say continue to be an even match, kind of trying to kind of keep getting those goals in, kind of equal distance between them, and kind of right through to the end, because even the numbers there. Sometimes you see kind of teams. There have been teams at kind of world championship level who are known for kind of always come back in the second half, but these don't feel like those kind of teams. So I still think we've got a lot to look forward to in the second half. We're bringing it back, and we're there. All right, and you can see Decker's timeout there is going to carry over, and there's still a lot to look forward to. Straight to the strike there. Right. Try to bring it up to the wall. Oh, look at that collision! Gorgeous. Trying to get it back. You can really see there how close it gets. That's lovely kind of stick quality there. And the nice thing about a game like this is you can kind of see on these hooked sticks that they're going to have the hook at the end, so that when you're kind of trying, if you imagine like a piercing strike, and then you can kind of whoop, bring it back. Right, it keeps it in that circle. Although CMAS has regulations surrounding how big the hook can be. Obviously, you can't just keep the puck on you at all times. Beautiful, and you can kind of see Chicago's taken the power from that one. Oh, really, look at that! I think the second half and the chance to come back, even more ferocity. Putting it back in, lovely. Oh, but then Seattle just smashes it through. Obviously, we've swapped sides now. I've got to remember that. And if you guys watch this for the first time, drop your predictions. Let me know what you think. I want to hear them. But yes. And of course, if you're just joining us, we're cruising into the second half here. And it is 2-1, and Seattle's on an early lead. Although, I still think in a game like this, it's all to play for. We will be seeing how that goes. And of course, Seattle's kind of pushing it to the right. He's swapped, as you can see. And we're hoping... Well, I'm hoping for Chicago right now. I think they can really do something with this. Although, that's a rough one. I can definitely sense that. Kind of ref cruising back. That might be it. Might be a goal there. Blimey, let's see how that turns out. That looks like... Doesn't look like a ref call, that one. We'll see. Interesting. Push it back up, hopefully. Nice. Chicago is... Well, we've seen quite a bit of them kind of really holding it at the goal, which is lovely. Really kind of shows that that determination. Kind of especially when you're holding your breath the whole time, it takes a lot to kind of be resilient like that. And kind of, again, wall, diagonal out, trying to take it to the tin, often in the kind of the corner. That's what you're going to see him, the kind of the sticks smashing together to try and take back control. But yes, if you guys join us now, I wanted to say, drop a follow, share this to a friend, whether someone who's a professional player or one of your teammates or someone who's never even heard of the sport before. Everyone is valued. Everyone can be an Otzpush fan. Let's go. And you can see there, I was too busy plugging. Decker Onken, amazing goal, straight up 3-1. But then you see Seattle is still got that energy. You can see them really just going to cruise through. But is it enough? 3-1. It's not necessarily gone now. I'd be interested to see how much Chicago can take back in this. It's nerve-wracking, this. Now, right up to the wall. That's interesting. I think kind of Decker was come back from a bit of with a vengeance in that second half after the timeout in the first one. Nice flick. You can even go kind of flick straight over. Someone loops round. Teammate straight through. Very, very nice. I love seeing that. Cruise through. Maybe that's Chicago goal. Could be a solid comeback. We will see. Amazing. Hope so. Alright. See as much as we can of that. Alright, waiting for the ref to kind of call. Although I believe there's going to be another Chicago whip around situation. See what the call is. 3-2. Brian Lynn, number 13. Not unlucky at all. I'm ready for it. Honestly, 3-2. That is not too bad. If that was a result for the whole thing, I'll be happy with that. From either team, you know. That's just a kind of solid, consistent game. Even the timings of each goal are kind of very, very nice. Kind of push through. you can see the power right up to the wall. They know what they want. They want to get into a strong rotation and then just drive it through relentlessly, without mercy. But yes, either of these teams, absolutely formidable to play against at any level, for any sort of team. Definitely. I'd be terrified. They're amazing. God, sport this level. Insane. Now, reset. Swim back. I'll see how that goes. Now, obviously you can see the kind of the hands moving down, kind of vertical dive there. Right to the wall. Curl. Backhand smash through. And you can see Seattle player number 20 on the left there. Really kind of controlling the space. Lovely fin work there. Now, where are they going to take it? Straight through? That's confident. Good flick through though. Yeah. It's great. It feels amazing. I can speak for this. When you're kind of pushing through and you go for a bit of a kind of confident drive through, and you know there's someone there to support you. Amazing moment. Any kind of player can speak to that. And you can see in the corner there. Bring it there. Now, I think Chicago can definitely do something with this. 9 minutes. That's what? Quarter and a bit. The match left. Definitely kind of solidified though. Although we've seen what happens when Seattle's pushed into a corner, goals wise, I mean. So I'd be very interested to see what they could do in a match where where everything's to play for, which I still think it is. Now, again to the corner, up, trying to get some more bodies on the bottom, and desperately bring it out back into space. Alright. I love a moment like this. Alright, the ref's intervening there, I believe. Yeah. Alright. That means it's... Alright. Okay. Reset, strike, straight through. Trying to take it out. And you can see now they're just getting ruthless with it. Straight to the 10. That'd be very difficult to defend against. There's not much you can do in that situation. Although I can see it kind of curving around, maybe back towards this wall. You're going to see a lot of that now. Very nice. Chicago just trying to, but just going to spending there. But leaving it clean. That's what happens. Kind of, it's all about cycles and making sure that kind of forwards are always there. I've heard it said 2 meters away from the puck, maximum at any time. Gorgeous swim. Straight through. Another Seattle player ready to take it. Kind of diagonal out. Trying to get into the middle for more of a clean push towards the tin. Amazing, amazing stuff. Now, look around to the far side wall, and you can see Seattle just trying to refresh. 4-2. You couldn't even see that. That was amazing. Christina Jones bring it to 4-2 to the Seattle Seahammers. Really, you can't ask for more than that. That might be the end for Chicago, but I'm still hoping. We'll see. We'll see. Let's give it a go. Let's see how it goes. New strike. This is a great indication of where the kind of the stamina is at, and Seattle did get that. So they're not kind of holding up. Lovely collision. You can really see it pushing there. But you can see all the kind of biceps engaging straight through. And again, physicality is not everything, but it does make a difference. Nice flick. Kind of really trying to hook it back in. Nice control. Number 87. There. Amazing. Fantastic stuff. Seattle just has an all-around team. Both of them very kind of balanced setups. They're going to try and cruise up the wall, but it just depends what Chicago can do for the next 5.5 minutes to come to the final quarter. And obviously, you can visualize what they're thinking about. Seattle is just kind of feeling pretty confident. They want to maintain this lead. kind of 4 solid. Although, again, there are always teams about that kind of that live and breathe kind of second half comebacks, especially in this time. And if a player was sent out, for instance, that alone could get a goal. And then 4-3, very different. And I'm guessing no one wants to leave with a draw. We'll see it. Yep. Interesting. There. Okay. See how this goes. Now. Fantastic. We're going to see another strike now. Although it remains to be seen who's going to be taking it. I'm assuming black, considering it's a white timeout. Interesting. How's Chicago going to play this? Get into space. Really, really go for it. Alright. And this will buy him some time, but not enough. It's a refresh. It's a way to kind of think about it. Yep, Chicago straight through, trying to get that right pass, and we'll see. I thought that pass was going to land there. I think when we talked about the data in the halftime, if you missed that, we were just chatting about how kind of based on historical data from this tournament, how we can think about kind of second half comebacks to kind of not predict but kind of think about a game like this. Even then, straight the way through, that Chicago kind of defensive free park should have made a difference, but both teams are just very, very strong at kind of protecting their goal there. So choices are limited. We'll see. Now, let's see how it goes. It's in there. And you can see the kind of the crest of a dive there. And should we see a tiny bit more detail as we come back into the middle third. Exciting. Now, it's definitely interesting to study a game like this, kind of on review, because as we talked about earlier in the week, kind of games where you're completely kind of overridden and overwhelmed, kind of sometimes don't teach you a lot. Sometimes they can, particularly as you kind of have time to kind of observe the opposition. But it's these matches that really kind of show, because obviously the Chicago is trying to kind of climb the ranks here, as they kind of haven't been in previous competitions, but here they're trying to take on a kind of A division team. But I think they could definitely make it through. Very interesting. Black timeout. Sometimes these are kind of to you can take kind of voluntary time out for your whole team in order to kind of discuss and kind of for a minute pause the timer and think about what your strategy is going to be. And I'm guessing this is Chicago trying to kind of see how they've kind of played these last 3.5 minutes, because as we said, you know, Nicholas Williams, brilliant goal back there. Certainly a formidable goal. But yeah, really strong players there with some really high goal scorers. So they were trying to utilise that to the best of their ability. And we'll see how much they can put that into practice. And again, if you're joining us, 3.5 minutes left. We're just coming out of a black timeout. 4-2 to Seattle. And we're seeing what Chicago does in these final minutes. Now, ref is watching, ready, and Chicago's going to really have to kind of dig deep to get it back into space. And I think the wall's going to be their friend here. Now, this is what makes a game like this so thrilling. Okay. Interesting. Go for another reset, I believe. Where the kind of refs going to put the kind of, if I haven't experienced before, kind of do kind of minor infringement, kind of stopping the game kind of either kind of buzzer or by kind of hitting the ground in more kind of local matches, kind of withdrawing through the puck, and then based on kind of what third you're in, teams will kind of put on their own technique, will try and kind of reset and kind of go for the strike. Although obviously it's like a foul, but not so much enough to incur penalties. Interesting. Christina Jones, 2-minute penalty. This could be the chance that Chicago have been looking for. That's a very strong player. One of the highest goal scorers of this tournament for Seattle, I mean, and definitely one of the heavy hitters. So we're going to see. I kind of immediately taking advantage of that. That's 2 minutes. That's an age in the context of a 2 15-minute match. Cruising through. Oh, just trying to push it. You can see there's kind of two-player stretch. It does come down to speed just to get just far enough ahead to try and kind of hook round. But it's not enough. Christina being out could at least kind of bring this to 4-3. But we'll see. We'll see. And of course, in a tournament like this, it's typically kind of in-water subbing. You can see that kind of at the back wall, where you have the nice kind of swimming bollards, and you kind of swim under that to kind of sub out. In other competitions, you have kind of out-of-water subbing, where you kind of sit on the side, but it really varies. Another reset. Hook round. Chicago's just trying to use everything they've got, and you can see number 20 there, just owning them in that there, but it's not enough to kind of offend off Chicago as they take a lovely bit of room, like a bullet through there, straight by the wall. And that's what being by the wall does for you. It gives you that kind of room when you need it, effectively. Big flick, nice. Although Seattle is straight on that, hook in, took all kind of advantage out of that. Again, number 3, trying to dominate that space. All about that. Okay? And you can see it's just a loop here by the wall. Chicago takes kind of lovely drive, kind of like a two-person pass sometimes, and then Seattle will be constantly rotating to take them out. Another one of these kind of paired swims, trying to overtake. Although this must be exhausting. Remember, we're in the morning, and it's very, very close. We might be on 4-2 now, and we'll see 2-1, and that is it. Very, very well played. That's really great. But yes, what do you guys think? I think that was an amazing match, and something really, really nice to look at. 4-2 final score, as the refs have decreed it. But yeah, it's fantastic to share the details of a match like this, and hopefully give you guys some added context and insights. Were our predictions correct? Were your predictions correct about the match if you hadn't seen it already? From the half time, I think kind of fairly so. I kind of thought that if kind of first time I would have kind of been thinking about kind of like a very consistent kind of not formulaic but kind of regular goal scoring, and that's kind of what we saw. But it's an incredibly solid matchup. And Seattle with kind of amazing power there. But Chicago, underrated, definitely. I think they could definitely kind of score higher. It's just how the tournament panned out in this one. And consistency, certainly. We talked about this earlier. Some kind of teams will kind of get the second half and be getting tough. They'll be kind of 2-3 down and kind of break apart. This isn't as common at an elite level. I've experienced this sometimes at like kind of amateur experience, but because there's always ways to kind of take it back and maintain consistent all the way through. But yeah, hope you guys enjoyed that. I've been Alex Pelling for Aegis Underwater Hockey. And again, I said this at the start, but I want to say another thank you to all of our partners, particularly Atlanta Sports, who kind of supplied the amazing footage and we're filming at this event, kind of with some fantastic homemade equipment. So with the barriers as well, we spoke the other day, barriers all designed by them. This is a really, really excellent experience. If you get the chance to be there in person, that's where you want to be. Really good stuff. And obviously, any more footage we can work with. If you're on an event like this and you're filming clips, bring it to us. I'll use it. I love making the edits and kind of illuminating these stories. And again, I've said this at the start. Drop it down in the comments in the chat. who is a team you want to see us work with, a match that you think would be fantastic to see commentated and kind of expanded upon, or like we did with Seattle this week, a team that you think has a lot to say about their journey and their kind of their place in athletes in this changing underwater hockey world. But yes, and again, a few thank yous to Liz Johnston and also to the Underwater Society of America for all of their help. I'll hopefully see you guys again soon. But see you guys in a bit. Have a great rest of the day. Okay, bye.